Welcome, everybody. It's Bradshaw Live. It's June 10th, and it is Hump Day today. Always one of our favorite days of the week here at Brad Squad. So get ready for some Hump Day. Let me say hello to the squad. I was a little late logging in, so if you said hello within the first 3 minutes of our show, I apologize. I don't see your comments, but I will start from when I logged in. Craig Rose, squad up. Sheer, blessed and highly favored parents, squad up. Carol Anglin, how are you? Dionne Watson. Nezzy wants more. Toshiba Buchanan, squad up. And she says she's very happy. So am I. This is my favorite, by the way, and I'm not even kidding around. My favorite hour and a half of my entire day is doing this and hanging out with the Brad Squad. So it is by far my favorite hour and a half of the day. And when we're back in studio, it's my favorite 2.5 hours a day when we have Yo-Yo and Nesquik with us as well, hopefully coming soon. Eileen Clark. Hi, Uncle Brad. Big up to yourself. You're doing a good job. Thank you very much. I try. Jewel Delph saying hello. Marcel Reed. How are you, Star Girl? What's up? Wynita Mobley. Is this law firm any good on immigration? She wants to know. Squad, you let them know. It's up to you to let Wynita know if we're any good or not. Pat Ego, what's going on? Latoya, his forever Peterson, still with him. I'm waiting for Latoya. And listen, I don't want to break up Eddie. But it would make me laugh a little bit if one day Latoya's like, Latoya, not forever. Peterson, no, I want you to be with him forever, Latoya. Monica Stone, how are you? Eileen Clark, Wilma Carterson, squad up. Marcella Reed, Aisla Enots, squad up. Tamika Whitney Jackson, do you have any idea when the courts are going to process our divorce cases? No, I do not know. It's on a county by county and state by state basis. So hopefully soon. I believe that when New York City, at least, if you're outside of New York City, the courts should be open wherever you are. In New York City, I believe the courts are open, but in terms of really getting a process, wait for phase 2 to hit in New York City. Wilma Carter saying he's the best. He answered it. Rochelle Williams. Hi, she's a first-time viewer from Florida. My cousin told me about you. Everybody, please welcome to our show, Rochelle Williams. Moya Douglas, squad up. Simpson Dolores, long time. How are you? How is everything? And let's see what's going on YouTube. Elizabeth Darby, squad up. Rupan Thakador, saying hi, Brad. Nice to see you again. Sophia McNabb, squad up. Sexy. Shan Myers. Kadeen Cole saying, hey, Uncle Chucky. What's going on with the embassies? I'm dying here. Now KD remembers from the other day when I said I would change my name to Uncle Chucky, and then I said I sounded like an evil lawyer because Chucky's from that evil doll guy. What's with the embassies? I don't know. It's on a country by country basis. We got to wait for the world to open up. I think the world will be more open in 30 days from now. Wait for July 4th to happen and pass. And I think we'll have some more news about what's happening at the embassies within various countries. Sophia McNabb, but I'll be great. How are you? Saying, hey, super lawyer, sweet dot. Back it up, Ricky. And 29, Super C. I agree with Chucky, LOL. Oh, my God. Is everyone changing my name to Chucky now? That's what happens when I open my mouth. By the way, it is Hump Day on Wednesday, so you know what happens on Hump Day on Wednesday? Somebody is going to win a free consultation with me. We do it every Wednesday. And for those who are new to our show, what we do is you follow us on Bradshaw Live. You find a bouncing Brad. You tag 5 friends who like that bouncing Brad, and you get put into my old scratchy hat. Now, once we get back into the studio, we have a machine. We don't have hats. We have a machine in our studio. But because There's no machine in my dining room because we're still on quarantine, actually, because we can't get back into our office yet. Because we're still in quarantine, I'm using my old scratchy hat. So what we do is we find a Bouncing Brad. We like Bouncing Brad on Instagram at Brad Show Live. We obviously follow Brad Show Live, and we tag 5 friends, and your name gets put into the scratchy hat. And every week on a Wednesday, we will pull out of the hat one person who will win a free consultation. Now, last week, I did it really, really fast. I did not shake it. I didn't stir it. So I gotta make sure that we shake it, we stir it, I spin it. Here, I'm spinning it like a helicopter. I have no idea who I'm going to pull out of my hat. We have a lot of people this week, by the way. A lot of people entered the contest. I have to raise my hand so I can see. Everyone can see. There's no shenanigans. I had somebody and I put it back. I don't know why. I just felt I should put it back. Up, there's somebody crawling. There it is. There was something crawling on my finger in my old scratchy hat. I hope I don't have cockroaches in that scratchy hat, too. All right. The winner of the free consultation with Brad, he tagged 5 people. He liked Brad Show Live. He liked the Bouncing Brad, and he followed at Brad Show Live on Instagram. The winner, it's valued at $200, is Papa Bang 1. If you are Papa Bang 1 or Popa Bang 1, congratulations. You have won a free consultation with me. Let's put that out one more time. Here we go. Popa Bang 1. Popa or Papa? I guess Popa Bang 1 is the winner. Congratulations, Popa. You have to slide into our DMs now on at Brad Show Live, and Pizza will organize the free consultation with you. And if you're a first-time viewer, you've got to figure out who Pizza is too. With that said, I do have to remind everybody, if you like our show and you have not subscribed on YouTube, please do so right now. If you subscribe, you will always be notified when we come on live. And you also get a chance to start the process, because it is a process, of becoming an official member of the Brad Squad. You have to follow and like us also on Facebook. If you follow and like us on Facebook at Brad Show Live, and you subscribe on YouTube, you can join the membership of Brad Squad on Facebook. It's an amazing group of people, the best group of people in the entire world. I put my stamp of approval on the Brad Squad. Also, if you need to reach me and you are not Papa Bang 1 and got a free consultation, you want to give us a call and you want me to speak to you to have a consultation, you got to call that number that's scrolling on the bottom. 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. Let's see what's going on YouTube, by the way. We have 54 people watching. Only 13 people gave me a thumbs up. 14 people now, because I just gave myself a thumbs up. So if you're watching and you are one of the 40 people who have not given us a thumbs up yet, please give us a thumbs up, because that tells everybody we are a good show, and perhaps you would want to watch us. So I would appreciate if you turn those gray thumbs blue. Right next to those gray thumbs that you're giving me the thumbs up is a share button on YouTube. You can copy. I need you guys to be our advertising agency. I say this all the time. I need you guys to be our publicists. This is how social media works. I need you to share this and tell people about our show. So you can copy the link. You could share it to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger, Reddit, Tumblr, anything you want. You could also copy the code and send it to your friends in WhatsApp. And finally, please, if you have not subscribed on YouTube, we would love for you to subscribe on YouTube. We want to know who you are. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm scared to subscribe on YouTube. I don't want anyone to know my business. No one's going to know your business anyway. Trust me. We got over 17,000 people. Nobody's going through our subscribers to figure out who's who. And on Facebook, we have over 115,000 people who are liking and following us. Again, nobody's going through 115,000 people to figure out who's who. So please like and follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe on YouTube. Please share this with your friends and family. And let's do some pre-immigration, Pre-immigration questions. Let's see if we have any pre-immigration questions before my smooze. I'm sounding like yo-yo right now. Schmooze. Prandeep Ram has a question on Facebook. Very quickly, Uncle Brad, you are so kind to us and keep your usual help and smile. One small question this time. I called USCIS and I learned that my VAWA background is in progress. When can I expect their decision? I don't know, Prandeep. I don't want to make you. You're so kind, Prandeep. I don't want to make fun of you, but I got to take out the magic 8-ball because I have no idea when you're going to hear. And even the magic 8-ball probably is not going to know either. I don't know when you're going to hear. I don't know how long your case has been pending, but I-360s are taking almost 2 years now. So you got to figure it's a 2-year process. I didn't ask the magic 8-ball. But I figure it's got to be a 2-year process. Kiro Abdi, when do you think international flights are going to start? That is a really, really good question. It depends where we're talking about going internationally. And it depends on what is considered international. If you're talking about international in and out of the United States, you're not going to be going to South America anytime soon because coronavirus is ravaging South America right now. Europe has calmed down a lot. I just don't know if Europe wants international flights from the United States at this moment. I can see in the future, perhaps in July, some European countries and some Asian countries, depending on the particular country, allowing Americans to fly to Europe and to Asia and having it reciprocal back to the United States because everything has to be reciprocal. But they're going to make people either take coronavirus tests at airports or show up at the airport with a test that you took in the last 72 hours to show you're coronavirus free. I think that's what's going to happen. Again, only the magic 8-ball would know for sure. But if you're asking me what I think may happen, that's what I think may happen. But it's all guesswork right now. Madam Efu Baidu with a pre-schmooze question. Squat up. And she's yelling it at me. When do you think we're going to receive our new interview dates for the rescheduled appointments? Well, ma'am, Efu Baidu, again, I don't know the answer to that. They are totally backed up. If you already got a interview notice and it was canceled, my guess is that you will get a new interview within the next 3 to 4 months. That's my guess right now. And let's see what else. If there's any other quick immigration question. Garnett Collins with a quick immigration question too on Facebook. Hi, Brad. My case was sent to the National Visa Center. Could I pay for the visa before I send in the rest of my documents? You have to pay for all of the visa fees at the National Visa Center. Only pay what is requested. Don't pay what is not requested. You're just going to be wasting your money and spinning your wheels. Let's see quickly if there's any pre-schmooze questions on YouTube. Janice Williams, hi, Uncle Brad. Do you know anything about the raise in fees? Yes, they're going to double and perhaps triple, and it's going to happen very, very soon. I'll come back to you in the next few days when I know the exact date it is going to happen. 29 Super C with a pre-comment of the day. Let's give Uncle Brad some love by clicking the thumbs up underneath the video. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. The Oxygen has a question, also a pre-schmooze question, saying, hey, Brad, I hope your team and your family is doing great. Thank you. Same to you. Is it true that immigration is giving permanent residency without the final interview? If so, what does it take for one to be so lucky? It would generally be if you are a child under 21 of a U.S. citizen or you are the parent of a U.S. citizen. The only time it's possible that you can be not get an interview. It's also possible if you came on a fiance visa and got married within 90 days and filed an adjustment. That would be the only time in a marriage that I've ever seen them not give an interview. But the VAWA cases will get an interview. Almost all marriage cases will get an interview. And my guess is most employment-based cases would get an interview as well. Let's see, one more before we start our schmooze. Rupan Takador, my spouse is waiting for an interview abroad. I'm the main sponsor, but right now I'm getting unemployment. As soon as possible, I'll start my job before my spouse interviews. That can affect my spouse visa. It shouldn't. As long as you're working before she shows up for her interview, then everything should be okay. So, the fact that you collected unemployment doesn't go against you for the affidavit of support. It's not a need-based thing. And finally, all things Chanel. We like that, all things Chanel. When is USCIS opening? USCIS is open except for New Jersey is opening next week and New York City the following week. And if I'm over 21 living in the USA, can my dad, who's a citizen, adjust status for me? No, because you're going to be on a waiting list for a green card 5, 6, 7 years. So unless you're going to stay in legal status for 5, 6, 7 years, you're over 21. You can't just randomly go file an adjustment application. You're on a waiting list. You would be in the F1 category. So you're not immediately eligible for a green card. When you are going to adjust your status, you are only eligible to adjust your status under one. I mean, there's a lot of different rules, but let me just give you the generalities of rules. You're an immediate relative, which means you made a legal entry into the United States and you're married to a U.S. citizen. You're the child under 21 of a U.S. citizen. You are the parent of a U.S. citizen. And in those three scenarios, it doesn't matter if you overstayed your visa or not. You're eligible to adjust because you're an immediate relative. What does that mean? It means that you are immediately eligible for a green card. Everybody else is not necessarily immediately eligible for a green card. So if you are the child over the age of 21 of a U.S. citizen father, there's a waiting list. It's 5.5 years. You've got to file an I-130, be on the waiting list. And only at the end of the waiting list, if you're in legal status, can you adjust your status as an F1. Otherwise, you have to go home and come back. And if you overstayed your time, you do a provisional waiver. Now, there are always exceptions. There's 245I. There's parole in place if someone's in the military. There's VAWA. There's all sorts of different exceptions to the general adjustment rule I just gave you. And there's probably 5 or 6 more that I didn't even mention. But in generalities, that's what it is. So no, you would not be able to adjust your status. With that said, we got to get into our schmooze. We have a lot going on today. Later, I have a real amazing treat. We're going to hear from Cecil J. Williams. Now, you may or may not know who Cecil J. Williams is. He's one of a very famous civil rights leader from the 1960s. He's an American photographer, and he actually documented the civil rights movement in South Carolina since the 1950s. He's an amazing, amazing man. I met him and we spoke, and I was just enthralled with everything he had to say about the civil rights movement that he was involved in, as well as his thoughts on what's going on today. And we'll be hearing from him a little bit later. In the meantime, please leave your immigration questions in our comments section. I will get to them after our schmooze. I will try to answer as many as I can. Please don't say it in caps because then I feel you're yelling at me. I don't like to be yelled at. I've had a long day. Try to help everybody. No yelling. Everybody's cool here. And with that, one last thing. If I don't answer your question, it's probably because I didn't see it. Ask it again. Don't ask it 20 times, but ask it again. And if by any chance I still didn't answer your question by the end of the show, then what I'd like you to do is follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. And if you follow me at Real Brad Bernstein, you can drop me a DM. That's Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram. You can drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your immigration questions on my DM on Instagram. And we should have a new Bouncing Brad that is up for next Wednesday. Next Wednesday's free immigration consultation. There I am, Bouncing Brad, with the confetti in the background. I guess it was the gun of confetti blowing up behind me. If you find Bouncing Brad with the American flag and the gun of confetti blowing up behind me, and you like that post on at Brad Show Live on Instagram, and you tag 5 of your friends, and you follow at Bradshaw Live, you too may be put in my hat next Wednesday to get a free consultation. Now we got to do something that we like to call schmoozing with Brad. So there was extremely long lines at the Georgia polling places on yesterday's primary elections, and it's leading to claims of voter suppression. The voter suppression, it has been going on since the 1800s, especially in the South. And the whole idea is to try to make it difficult for people, for minorities to vote, therefore reducing their votes and therefore keeping others who are in power, which would be the Republicans, who are not generally being elected by minorities and working class. Now, thousands of voters in Georgia participated in Tuesday's primary elections, but it was huge delays. They had to stand 6 feet apart. We have pictures of lines going blocks and blocks and blocks long. There were defective voting machines across the state, including in Atlanta. Now, Georgia was one of 5 states that held the primary elections Tuesday. Now, states are continuing to hold in-person elections despite the coronavirus pandemic, even as voting rights activists and Democrats in Congress push for more federal investment in mail-in votes. Of course, every time there's a mail-in vote, Donald Trump is going to start yelling, fraud, fraud, fraud. We don't know who's signing these mail-in votes. And it has led to a lot of controversy. Now, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, who I am now becoming one of my favorite politicians, called out the Secretary of State on Twitter and urged voters in line to not allow your vote to be suppressed. She was telling people, these votes are important, stand in line. Anita here, an 80-year-old woman, was first in line, and when asked by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution if she would wait hours to vote, she said, of course, I worked for 40 years. Where else am I going? Now, in the end, Joe Biden won Georgia. He picked up more delegates. He also won West Virginia. He is absolutely the Democratic nominee. He clinched it with the wins in Georgia and West Virginia on Tuesday night. Now, it's come out that New York cops, when everybody was looking at the pictures of the cops dealing with the protests and the looting and the riots, well, overwhelmingly, they have been going without masks. So much so that Mayor Bill de Blasio widely criticized for defending the New York City police. They pleaded with them, nevertheless, to follow the rules. The mayor said on Sunday, it's just a human decency thing, even though masks remain optional for officers in the field. And that's really, I'm not a big Bill de Blasio fan, I got to tell you, but he's 100% right. Wearing a mask is human decency. Why is it human decency? Because wearing a mask is generally not going to protect you from getting, if I'm walking around with a mask outside, it's not generally going to protect me from getting coronavirus. What it is I am protecting others, God forbid I'm sick, from getting coronavirus. That's why it's a human decency thing to do. So when people are walking around without masks, they're saying to everybody, F you. I don't care if you get coronavirus or not. Now, across the country, police departments have left it up to individual officers to decide if they're going to wear a mask or not. Now, according to the Huffington Post analysis of hundreds of videos and photos posted over the past 2 weeks of the protests, they found that the majority of police working the demonstrations are not wearing masks. A survey of the police departments in the country, so that's basically the police saying, F you, I don't care if I'm sick or not, I'm going to get you sick. A survey of police departments in the country's 20 most populous cities found loose guidelines and zero measures to penalize officers who fail to cover their mouth and nose and this is again a basic step that the World Health Organization, that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that you hear it from Dr. Fauci, have recommended to everybody. So who are the people who are not wearing masks? The cops and Trump. Cops and Trump. Those are the people not wearing masks. Meanwhile, the brother of George Floyd made an emotional plea before the House Judiciary Committee for lawmakers to take action to prevent more deaths at the hands of police officers. We have some video of what Philanese Floyd had to say.
I'm tired of pain. Pain you feel when you watch something like that. When you watch your big brother, who you looked up to for your whole life, die begging for his mom.
The hearing came 2 days after congressional Democrats unveiled the Justice in Policing Act, which would ban chokeholds, establish a national database to track police misconduct, and prohibit certain no-knock warrants, among other initiatives. Now, addressing George directly, he said, "Look at what you did, big brother. You changed the world. Thank you for everything, for taking care of us on Earth, for taking care of us now. I hope you find Mama, and you can rest in peace with power. Thank you." And he did change the world, George Floyd. Now, according to a man, this is really interesting, because this may change the criminal case as it pertains to Derek Chauvin, the cop who killed George Floyd. Now, according to a man who claims he worked at the same Minneapolis nightclub that once employed George Floyd and his killer, Derek Chauvin, the two men knew each other and at times bumped heads over Chauvin's aggressive handling of the club's patrons. Now, David Pinney told CBS News on Tuesday it has a lot to do with Derek being extremely aggressive within the club with some of the patrons, which was an issue. His remarks echo claims made by Floyd's family that George's death was in part very personal. CBS News pressed Pinney on the two men's relationships. Pinney claims Chauvin definitely knew Floyd. I would say pretty well, he added. Now, Maya Santamaria, the owner of the club, which has been lost to arson now, previously told CBS News that Chauvin allegedly took a different approach on how he treated black patrons. Chauvin worked at the club when he was off duty, usually sitting in his squad car outside the club, and Floyd worked security inside. And do you think Derek had a problem with black people? CBS News asked Santamaria, who replied, "I think he was afraid and intimidated." Now, in the last 2 weeks, what has been amazing and how George Floyd changed the world is that American voters' support for the Black Lives Matter movement increased almost as much as it has in the preceding 2 years. Public opinion on race and criminal justice issues, they've been steadily moving left since the first protest ignited over the shootings of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. And since the death of George Floyd in police custody on May 25th, public opinion on race, criminal justice, Black Lives Matter, it has leaped leftward by a 28-point difference. Civics finds, now Civics, which did the polling, found that a majority of Americans support Black Lives Movement, up from a 17-point margin before the most recent wave of protests. So by a difference of 28%, Americans now support the Black Lives Movement. Additionally, a Monmouth University poll found that 76% of Americans, 3 out of 4 people, consider racism and discrimination a big problem. And that is up from just about 50% of the voters in 2015. So in 2015, before Donald Trump became president and Barack Obama was president, 1 out of 2 people basically said that racism and discrimination is a big problem in America. Now it is 3 out of 4. Meanwhile, talking about Donald Trump, a former federal judge appointed to review the Justice Department's motion to dismiss charges against Donald Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn, has found that the government's request should be denied because it is clear evidence of gross abuse of power by the Trump administration. Former U.S. District Judge John Gleeson said in a filing Wednesday that the government has engaged, and he's talking about the government, this is Trump's government, this is the Department of Justice, has engaged in highly irregular conduct to benefit a political ally of the president. Flynn pleaded guilty as part of a special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation to lying to the FBI about conversations with the Russian ambassador to the United States. In January, Flynn filed court papers to withdraw his guilty plea, saying federal prosecutors had acted in bad faith and broken their end of the bargain. The Justice Department filed a motion last month to dismiss the case, saying the FBI had insufficient basis to question Flynn in the first place, and that statements he made during the interview were not material to the broader counterintelligence investigation into ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. The fact of the matter is that the criminal case against Flynn was done properly within the law, and he did plead guilty. And now, because of Porky, U.S. Attorney William Barr, putting pressure on the U.S. attorneys to basically drop the case against Flynn after he pled guilty but hasn't been sentenced yet. Now, meanwhile, it also came out that Don Jr., he went on a very controversial trip to Mongolia for hunting some endangered animals, and it cost the United States $75,000 in taxpayer money because Don had to be followed along by the Secret Service for protection. Now, originally, Don Jr. said it only cost the United States $17,000, but after Crew, the Citizens for Ethics and Responsibility in Washington, uncovered documents in a Freedom of Information Act request, which you hear the Freedom of Information Act request all the time from me, something we do with immigration all the time to get people's records. So they found out the actual cost of what it was that the Secret Service cost for Don Jr. to go hunt endangered animals in Africa. It cost the U.S. government $76,859. It was an 8-day trip, and it was controversial not only because it cost the government $76,000. It was controversial because Trump was hunting endangered animals that he got a special permit that no one else is allowed to hunt this animal but Trump, because they're endangered, because there's not a lot of them left. It's called an Argali sheep, but he already killed the animal, and it didn't matter at that point. And then he had a private meeting with the president of Mongolia, and nobody knows what he talked about. Yet it cost the U.S. government $76,000. Meanwhile, according to statistics from the Johns Hopkins University, there are now over 7.2 million coronavirus cases worldwide. In the United States, more than 2 million people have been diagnosed with corona. America has over 114,000 people who have died. Now, as the number of new coronavirus cases continues to increase worldwide, and more than a dozen states and Puerto Rico are recording their highest averages of new cases since the pandemic began, hospitalizations in at least 9 states have been on the rise since Memorial Day. That includes Texas, North and South Carolina, California, Oregon, Arkansas, Mississippi, Utah, and Arizona. They are all increasing the number of patients under supervised care for coronavirus. Many of these states have experienced an increase in cases, also have an increase in hospitalizations, and a handful of states are nearing bed capacity again. Are we on the cusp of a second wave of coronavirus? It is extraordinarily possible. We don't know yet because, the numbers always lag a little bit. But there are some states like Arizona that they're reaching capacity already. We may be onto a second surge. Why? Because the government opened up. People are walking around. People are protesting. Cops are not wearing masks. Protesters may or may not be wearing masks. And a lot of people are congregating, certainly not wearing masks. And as a result, numbers are increasing. But we got to get to something we like to call Hump Day. That is the news of the day, but we got to get to Hump Day. That's what we do here on Wednesday. We have any camels, Lee? Are there any camels anywhere? Yeah, there's a camel. We don't have the real camels. The real camels are at our studio. We only have cartoon depictions of the camels, but it is Hump Day today. Let's see if we can just at least sit back and enjoy and have a little fun. Now, I have not seen any of these Hump Day news yet. For those who don't know, it becomes a little R-rated Hump Day. We call it Hump Day news for a reason. It all revolves something around a little naughtiness or sexual innuendos, stories that we just make us laugh a little bit, or maybe sometimes teach us, but for the most part, make us laugh a little bit. So let's get right into it. Yesterday was National Sex Day, and I have to admit, I did not participate in National Sex Day. Nobody told me it was National Sex Day. We should have been announcing this yesterday that I would have participated in National Sex Day. Nobody told me. I did my show, I ate dinner, and I went to sleep. Oh, I'm so upset now. Oh, God, I missed National Sex Day. It's on June 9th. You want to know why it's on June 9th? I just figured it out, 69. That's why it's on June 9th. So it's great news for the City Department of Health officials, because yesterday they were offering free home delivery of condoms, lubricant, and HIV self-test kits to New Yorkers. But nobody told me this. Why, Bradshaw crew, are you telling me about National Sex Day on June 10th? Why couldn't you tell me about National Sex Day on June 9th? I could have done something about it. No, I went to sleep. I'm very upset at this whole crew here. The entire crew knew it was National Sex Day. They're participating. They're having their Hump Day on Tuesday. But nobody told me. Now, New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, they can order free condoms ranging in size and style by visiting newyorknyc.gov/condoms. The free HIV self-test kits are also available for home delivery. I'm so upset that I missed National Sex Day. I can't even begin to tell you. I got to make up for it on Hump Day, I guess, right? Meanwhile, let's see what this headline is. New York City health officials advise kinky Zoom parties and masks during sex amid COVID-19. I don't even know what that means, but let's find out. City health officials in New York City have issued updated guidance Monday. Now I know. They have updated guidance Monday on how to practice safe sex during coronavirus pandemic, suggesting New Yorkers kiss boring bedroom behavior goodbye. Let's see what these government bureaucrats say, how we should be having sex during the pandemic. Let's see what the New York department says. They say, make it kinky. Be creative with sexual positions and physical barriers like walls that allow sexual contact while preventing close face. You're supposed to have sex through a wall? They say to have the New York City, I just want to make sure I get this right. The health department for the city of New York is telling everybody to have sex through a wall. I need a drill. I got to drill a hole at least this wide. I hope the wall's not too thick. Get somebody on the other side. What are you supposed to do? That's crazy. Now, before getting frisky, everyone should also be slipping on some protection while you're having sex through this wall. I am not making this up. This is what New York City is telling people to do. Can you imagine you knock on the neighbor's wall? You're in an apartment in New York City. You knock on the neighbor's wall. Hey, you want to get it on? Let me drill a hole through here. We have to do it between the walls. The agency said during COVID-19, wearing a face covering that covers your nose and mouth is also a good way to layer protection. I can't even continue that story. That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my entire life. The Sex Island party is back on later this month. We tried, for those who haven't been watching for a long time, they were going to have a sex party on some island, and we were trying to convince Yo-Yo to go to do the sex party and be the correspondent for the sex party. I think it was like $2,000 for a weekend, and every man gets to have his choice of 6 prostitutes that would be on the Love Island. Apparently, it was called off, and now it is back. I got to call Yo-Yo and see if he wants to be the Bradshaw Live correspondent on Sex Island. It is back for 2020. Despite coronavirus pandemic, they're now offering a 3-night experience with unlimited sex. The controversial holiday is going to run from June 19th to June 21st, but this time it's going to be in Las Vegas. They're not going to a private island, and tickets are costing over $6,000. So basically what they're doing is they're saying, come to Las Vegas. We're going to hook you up with a bunch of prostitutes. You pay us $6,000. The exact location, I don't think Yo-Yo needs that. The exact location isn't revealed until guests have brought the tickets. Organizers are calling it the Good Girl organizers. The name of the company organizing it, boy, I get tongue-tied on these hump day things. The name of the company organizing it is called Good Girl Company. They promise attendees can have unlimited sex and booze, as well as enjoy a number of activities, including horseback riding. Let me tell you something, okay? Nobody is going horseback riding in Las Vegas if they're spending $6,000 for sex and booze. They ain't leaving the place to go ride a horse for 2 hours. I am telling you, they're staying right where they are. The horses are going to be left alone all weekend, I can almost assure you. All right, let's see what else is going on here on Hump Day. A Florida porn actor, he's running for office in America's second gayest city. I don't know what I didn't even know what America's first gayest city, I guess, is San Francisco, I guess. I wonder what America's second gayest city is. Let's find out. A Florida porn star is switching gears and running for local office, Juan Malesio. He's openly gay. He filed paperwork Monday for a shot at a commission seat in Wilton Manors. I didn't know Wilton Manors is a gay community, but apparently it is the second gayest community in America. And Malesio, he says, I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm a very passionate person. When something is right, I just go for it. Now, Malesio, his name is Antonio Biaggi. Yes, he's a porn star. He's appeared in a number of porn shoots, including Trouser Trout and Workloads 2. Oh, my favorite, Workloads 2. One of my favorite ones. Actually, never heard of either one. Never heard of him either. Nevertheless, this 41-year-old gay porn star has also owned a spa and barber shop in Wilton Manors before selling the business in 2019. Now, Wilton Manors is in South Florida, and apparently it's known as the second gayest city in America, according to the website, as a result of its high LGBT population. So I say, why not? Just because you're in porn doesn't mean you can't run for a public office. Okay, we've had a lot of politicians who have effed us over the years. So at least this guy, he knows how to F already. He's done effing everybody. Maybe he'll be a good politician. That's what I got to think. Let's see what else we have here. That's it for Hump Day. Wow, it was a short Hump Day. I was hoping for more Hump Day, but that is it. That is all the Hump Day news we have for today, folks. And hope you enjoyed it. We got to get to our immigration questions. It's the only show where you get hard news, and I hate to use the word hard news on Hump Day, but you get hard news, Hump Day news, immigration questions, all within 1 hour. All right, let's see. Before we go into our immigration questions, don't forget, we are going to have Cecil J. Williams joining us in a few minutes. Amazing, amazing guy. So please hang in there and watch. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. Also, this is the time to start your watch parties. This is the time when I'm going to be answering your immigration questions. And by the way, Stargirl Mika has it right. He's like, Brad, you couldn't do anything anyway. Your girlfriend's in Europe. Exactly. She's stuck in Europe. I'm here in New York. I couldn't do anything anyway. As big as anyone could claim they are, they're not that big to reach Europe. I don't even know if I'm big enough to reach the next apartment. But yes, unfortunately, she's in Europe. But hopefully, they'll open up open up the world soon. But nevertheless, right now is the time to watch your watch parties. Watch your watch parties. I'm in a deep sweat from Hump Day. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Now is the time to start your watch parties on Facebook. That's what I meant to say. And also, please share. And by the way, if you don't have a question, make a long comment, because Facebook and YouTube, they recognize long comments as people who are really engaged. And everyone's a smart person here. There's no dummies watching this show. So everyone can come up with a nice, intelligent comment to say. That would be amazing as well. Of course, you see the number scrolling below. Call that number if you need an immigration consultation with me. You will notice that I do know immigration as well. It's 1-800-529-5465. Don't forget, if you don't get your immigration questions answered, you could always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. Drop me a DM with your immigration question. You can also follow at Brad Show Live. If you follow at Brad Show Live and you find the bouncing Brad with the confetti gun behind me, so there goes the confetti, then you can also tag 5 of your friends, like that post, and be perhaps pulled out of my scratchy old hat next Wednesday. Lee, it's time to answer some immigration questions in something we like to call pandemic immigration question and answer, I guess. All right, we always start off with Facebook, so I'm going to start off with YouTube today and see what immigration questions they have there. D. Gore with a question. I received my work permit. I am waiting for USCIS to reschedule my appointment. My concern is if I'm self-employed and doing very well, but I'm wondering if I can continue or do I need to get a job? No, you can be totally self-employed. That's perfectly fine. And you're doing well. Don't give up. Don't give up. Absolutely. If you're doing well and making money, by all means, keep working. Mel Jalove with an immigration question says, hi, Brad. My husband and I filed the I-130 on May 27th, 2020. He is a U.S. citizen. I have no status. How long till I get a Social Security and work permit? We both live in the States. Thank you. If he just filed the I-130 and nothing else, you will never get a work permit and Social Security. You need to file an I-130 along with an I-485, along with an I-130A, along with an I-864, along with an I-765 and an I-131. That is an adjustment package. Then you would be fingerprinted, and then you would get a work permit in about 4 to 5 months. So if you've only filed the I-130, you haven't left the starting gate yet. So please file the adjustment. That's what you need to do. If you're not sure how to do it, you'll see my telephone number scrolling on the bottom. You can give us a call. Rupan Thakador, hi, Brad, please, if you have any updates. There is no updates on the 60-day ban. We'll have to see what happens. I don't know what the updates are going to be. So hopefully the ban's over. As Stargo Mika says, I want to see my girlfriend too, so I don't know what's going to happen though. So we'll see what happens. Donald Horton with a question. Good evening, everyone. Just to let you all know that I'm back home in Florida safe. Thank God for travel, grace and mercy for bringing me home safe. Not a question, a statement. I am glad you are well. I didn't know, Donald, where you went. Maybe I missed it in the comments over the last couple of weeks, but I am glad that you are back. Jolie Palmer with a question. Sir Brad, what would happen if your U.S. citizen spouse passed away while waiting for your green card interview? If you have a I-130 pending or an I-130 approved, it automatically converts to a widow petition, and you would then complete the case as a widower, as a widower. And you would have to prove it was a bona fide marriage, and you would need to get an affidavit of support from somebody else. So it automatically converts to a widow petition. If you're married and your spouse has not filed anything for you yet and then passes away, you have 2 years in which to file the widow petition. After that, you can't do it anymore. KL with a question. Hi, Brad. My work permit and travel combo card are going to expire in September, and I would like to renew it. I would like to know the address to send the information to for renewal, please. It is the same address that you filed your adjustment. So wherever you filed your adjustment, that is where you're going to file for the work permit renewal. Alton Deckard. Hey, you. This is a pre-comment of the day. Hey, you who gave the thumbs down. It's obviously a mistake. This is clearly the best immigration program on with the best lawyer, social commentary, and real issues are dealt with here. Brad for president, vote. That is pre-comment of the day. Thank you very much, Alton. I appreciate it. There's always one person who always gives us a thumbs down every day. It must be a mistake. Shiraz Dejolish, I guess. Sharzad Jaloj. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if I butchered it. Says, hi, Brad. I am a 2 years green card holder. I filed the I-751 petition to remove the conditions. My husband is a U.S. citizen. He applied for food stamps. Does it affect my I-751 removing condition on residence? If you are removing the conditions on your permanent residence, applying for food stamps does not affect the removal of the conditions of your permanent residence. If you are filing for an adjustment, it would affect it. But by applying for it to remove the conditions, no, it does not affect it at all. Let your husband collect his food stamps if he needs it. May McMackey with a question. Hi, Brad. I got the I-130 approval for my son in September 2019. I haven't heard anything from the National Visa Center to date. Is there anything I can do? Yeah, if you haven't heard from the National Visa Center, there's one of two reasons. One is that your son is on a visa waiting list and the priority dates are not current yet. Or two, the National Visa Center is screwing up. Because maybe your son's an immediate relative. I'm not sure how old your son is and whether you're a citizen or a resident. So let's assume that he's an immediate relative. If he's an immediate relative, you should be contacting the National Visa Center immediately and submitting a copy to them of the I-130 and saying, hey, here's my I-130. I got approved back in September 2019. Where the hell's my fee bills? If your priority date's close to being ready, it's the same thing. I just don't know what your priority dates are. It's also possible your priority date's not reached yet. So I would need to know more to tell you exactly, what you should do or why you haven't heard anything yet. Jason Paul with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. My wife's I-130 was reaffirmed on February 4th, 2020. The National Visa Center is saying they never received it from the USCIS. USCIS is saying it was sent to the National Visa Center on February 4th, 2020. What can I do? I've been calling both offices. I don't know if it should have been sent back to the National Visa Center. It should have been sent right back to the U.S. Embassy if it was reaffirmed. But if the National Visa Center still doesn't have it, and it's now 3 months later, I think at some point you need to contact a lawyer so we can sort it out. I don't have the answer for you other than harass the National Visa Center unless we're going to start filing mandamus. But it really should have been sent directly to the embassy, back to the embassy. It doesn't have to go through the National Visa Center again. You've already paid the fee bills already. So I'm not sure why it would go back to the National Visa Center. It should go back to the U.S. Embassy. Perhaps contact the U.S. Embassy. Perhaps you were mistaken and think that it went to the National Visa Center, but it went to the U.S. Embassy. Or maybe the officer that you spoke to at immigration, who never gives good advice anyway, said it went to the National Visa Center, but really it should have went back to the U.S. Embassy. So my advice is this, now that I've talked in the big circle. Contact the U.S. Embassy, see if it's there. If it's not there, contact back the National Visa Center, see if it's there. It shouldn't be there. It should be at the U.S. Embassy. But if it's there, then at least you know where it is and take it from there. Or if nobody seems to know where this application is, then there's a number scrolling on the bottom, 1-800-529-5465. Marco Salinas with a question. Uncle Brad, hi. My VAWA was approved in May of 2020. My I-45 was sent on December 2018. I was married to a U.S. citizen. If there is an interview, what type of questions will I be asked? You are going to be asked about everything in your VAWA case, the bona fides of your marriage, proof of your good moral character, and proof of the abuse. You're also going to be asked questions to see if you are inadmissible to the United States of America, fraud questions, criminal background questions. You're going to have to show your medical exam. Those would be the questions that I would prepare for. Do I have a list of the exact question you're going to be asked? No. But in our preparation, if you are prepared by a lawyer, they would cover everything because we would first have to look at your file so we would know the specific facts of your case so we know what questions to ask. But the themes of the questions are your bona fides of your marriage, good moral character, your abuse, and questions about inadmissibility to the United States. Let's see what else we have here. Jim Finances with a question. My friend asks, is it safe at the airport now that it's slow at the airport for undocumented immigrants? I would assume it's safe. I haven't heard anything to say that that TSA is contacting ICE, because it's not ICE when you go through the metal detectors. It's not ICE, it's TSA. They have nothing to do with immigration. So I have not heard anything about yet. I've not heard anything. I've not seen it in my clients, and I have lots of them, that TSA has changed their policy and starts calling ICE every time somebody has a foreign passport. So I haven't seen or heard that. So I assume it's as safe in the airport now for undocumented immigrants as it was pre-coronavirus. I'm going to assume that. I haven't heard anything to say otherwise. But if you hear of stories or hear something, please let me know. And then perhaps I may change my mind and may change my advice. But as of now, I think it's fine. Lola Unstoppable. If you are refiling your adjustment of status, do you have to do over everything like fingerprints and medical? Yes, you do. Tia Persaud, Uncle Brad, I updated my address when I called USCIS. They gave me 30 days from the date I updated the address and got the approval notices for the combo card over a month. So they told me I got another 30 days to wait to receive the combo. Okay, so there's waited out another 30 days. If you don't get it, then give us a call. Grace Ann Mailer. Hi, Brad. If you overstayed here, is there any course you can take at any schools or colleges without a social security number? Yes, there's plenty of schools that will accept you regardless of your status. You have to go school by school and see what it is. For example, the borough community colleges, I know in New York City, will accept you. Local community colleges within New York and New Jersey most likely would accept you, even without a social security number or proof that you're in legal status. So you got to go school by school. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Let's see what the questions are. I answered some of these already. Garnett Collins with a question. Hi, Brad. My case was sent to the National Visa Center. Can I pay for the visa before I said no? I actually answered that question too. I said, don't pay for anything yet. Wait until they tell you to pay for things. Allie. Okay, Allie, you have a very, very complicated name, but I'm going to try my best. Allie Berry Conquerdem Lee Chosen. Allie Berry Conquerdem Lee Chosen. Hi, Brad. I'm asking a question for my friend. If she got banned from Canada, does America, will there be a red flag? It depends what she got banned for. So if she got banned for criminal activity, yes, there would be a red flag for America. If it was that she just, came in with a fake document to Canada and got turned around, that has nothing to do with America. So it depends what why she got banned. Anita Nelson, hi, Uncle Brad. Follow up to my question yesterday. Please, after the Stokes interview, it's been 4 months, 2 weeks now, no response from USCIS. Is it advisable for me and my husband to call the immigration? You're going to call them. Nothing bad will happen. I don't think anything good will happen either, but you can certainly call them. I don't think anything bad will happen. But by all means, yes, you can follow up. Absolutely. Joseph Canuta with a question. Can I have an immigrant interview in Ireland now in this period? I got my NVC notice that they will set up interviews with the U.S. Embassy. My wife petitioned for me. As soon as the embassies open around the world, I don't know off the top of my head if the embassy is open in Ireland. I will assume that it is not, but it is possible that it's open, but I doubt it. I doubt it's open for walk-in business yet. You have to wait for the embassies to open for walk-in business. Hopefully that'll be sometime over the summer. Ni Mantis Enos with a question. Hi, Brad. My wife and I have uploaded our civil documents on the National Visa Center website. Our application is going to be current in 2 weeks. What happens if we haven't gotten any response by then? Call them and contact them. You can call them. You can write them. By all means, you got to follow up. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Janeth Inguez. I applied because of the Obama, but never used it. I filed the I-130 for my spouse. You think she would become a public charge? No, I do not. If you're taking something with the Obama medical plan, which is basically the exchange plans, I don't think that is going to be a problem. As a matter of fact, I know it's not going to be a problem. Salman Khan Awan. Hey, Brad, I've been following you for 10 years. Thank you, Salman. I hope you're doing great. I am. Thank you. My question is, I'm an F1 unmarried son of a U.S. citizen, and I come under 60 days suspension. Do you think this ban on the F category will end or be extended? If you ask me what I think is going to happen, I change my mind a lot, but I am going to think that it will be extended for a short period of time. I know for a fact the courts will stop it. I just think Trump is a mean, evil, racist man, and he doesn't care how many lives he destroys, how many people he keeps apart, how many families he keeps apart. He doesn't give a crap. He just cares about getting elected. And the only card he can play now is bash the immigrants. I don't know any other card he can play right now. Bash the immigrants, and because he can't run on Make America Great Again, because it's not, and he can't run on the economy. It's not great. So I'm not sure what else he can run on. So I'm scared he's going to do it. I don't know for a fact, but I think he will. And I think eventually, sometime this summer, the courts are going to put an injunction on it. Let's see what else. Oh, Janeth Inguez. She applied for Medicaid, but never used it. Okay, so if you didn't use it and it was more than 3 years ago, it will not be a problem. Clifford Gordon, why are you calling me out about all the caps? Because when you write in caps, Clifford, you're yelling at me. I'm just making it as a joke. Don't worry, we're all cool. Eileen Clark. I write about my son the other day. You are his lawyer. He's on a waiver from last year, June. He's still in Jamaica. Yeah, the provisional waivers are taking close to a year now, Eileen, unfortunately. Alana Grant with a question. As a citizen of the United States, I would like to file for my daughter who is abroad. Can you help me with that? I absolutely can. There's a telephone number below that's scrolling below the screen, Alana Grant, and you can call that number right now and you can get on my list. I have a list every day that I pick up the phone and I call people. So you can get on my list for tomorrow. You just got to call today. Let's see what else we have here. Cordella, is she in the comments? I hope she's feeling better, Cordella Douglas. There she is. She's home. That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Cordella. I'm glad that you are home. That means you're feeling better. It's always terrible to be in the hospital, so thank God for that. And please recover. And I'm happy to hear that. Elaine Brown with a question. Hello, Uncle Brad. I have a question for my cousin. She came here and her visiting visa, she overstayed her time. Her mother's filing for her, but her papers went to Jamaica. She said she tried to get them back. She said she doesn't know what to do. If I don't know if she's over 21, we have to determine there's something called, if she's over 21 and she's in legal status, she can just adjust her status if her priority date's legal. If she's 245I, she can adjust her status. If she's under 21 and her mom's a U.S. citizen, she can adjust her status. Otherwise, she may need to do a provisional waiver, go home and come back. So I think, Elaine Brown, that your cousin needs to call me, and that telephone number is on the bottom, and we can figure out if she qualifies to adjust her status. If she does, we'll get the papers back. Don't worry. That's the least important. We got to determine whether or not she's qualified to adjust her status or whether she has to go home. Let's see what else. Wilma Carter has a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. I have a friend who went to Jamaica last year. He didn't commit any crimes and felony charges in Germany. He doesn't want to go back to Germany. How can he come to the United States? Well, if he's German, he can come to the United States on the ESTA for 90 days. How he would be able to stay here on a more permanent basis, I don't know. But as a German, you can apply for the ESTA. You don't even need a visa. So that's where he should start, just to come here for 90 days, if that's what he chooses to do. If you're talking about having him come here for a longer period of time, he'd probably need a consultation with me. Shakespeare Natalia says, hi, good evening. I'm living in North Carolina. Is it going to be a problem for my fiance to marry me there in North Carolina? No, it will not. You can get married in North Carolina. You can file papers in North Carolina, and we can absolutely help you. And the telephone number is below, 1-800-529-5465. Kanuru, hi Brad, ACD 17055 sealed under 16050. Conviction for immigration? No, if you have an ACD, it is not a conviction. It's adjourned in contemplation of dismissal, which means the case was ultimately dismissed. It means you were arrested and now the case was dismissed. It is not a conviction for immigration purposes. And our last question at the moment, we'll come back and finish up in a little bit, but our last question at the moment says, hi Brad, pleasant good evening to you. My friend got denied 2 times. They said that they sent a letter out, but she never received a letter. When she called again, that person told her there is no letter sent out, but she got divorced. Karen Russell Clark, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I will read it one more time. Hi, Brad. Pleasant good evening to you. Thank you. I understand that, and I appreciate that. Thank you. My friend got denied 2 times. They said that they sent out a letter, but she never received a letter. When she called again, that person told her there was no letter sent out, and now she got a divorce. I think that friend needs to call me, and we'll figure out what's going on. Worst comes to worst, we could always do what's called the Freedom of Information Act request and get a copy of all her records and find out what happened. In the meantime, I had the honor recently and the pleasure of speaking to Cecil J. Williams. Now, Cecil is an American photographer, publisher, author, and inventor. He has documented the civil rights movement in South Carolina since the 1950s. Many of you may recognize Cecil from the iconic photograph of him at the age of 19 drinking out of a whites-only fountain. Everybody has seen that picture of a young black man drinking out of the whites-only fountain. This is Cecil J. Williams. He is now 82 years young, and he recently opened the Cecil Williams Civil Rights Museum and Institute for Social Innovation in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Now, Cecil has a prolific career, and we discussed a lot during our interview, which will be posted in long form later in this week. But we thought we would play a very short portion of the interview. It's less than 5 minutes. Now, Cecil has documented such important events in the fight for equality in this nation, such as Harvey Natt's desegregation of Clemson University. I'm sorry, Harvey Gantt's desegregation of Clemson University in 1963, the 1968 Orangeburg Massacre, and the 1969 Charleston Hospital workers' strike. So we thought we would start by hearing Cecil's thoughts on what's going on today regarding civil rights and police brutality. Let's watch. Tell me what your thoughts about the state of race relations, the state of the United States right now.
Well, I feel that what has happened recently kind of brings out what happens when you have at the administration level hatred being the byproduct of so many things. But to focus on people of color coming in through our southern borders, we've never done that same thing with Canada. We've never done that same thing where other people are coming in, sometimes legally or illegally, into the United States. And the demonstrations and the protests going on now in Washington, I think it is directed at the right place because that was where this hatred began. An administration and a president that does not seem to want to come to grips with the fact that we are all Americans. We're all one country and we all want the same thing. But we are still held back by, again, some bad police and law enforcement. And it's always been there, such as it was with the Orangeburg Massacre, where 3 students were killed. And again, the lack of respect for people of color, the lack of respect for really anyone. I'm so very proud to see that everyone is joining these marches and demonstrations. The violence we can do without, but that's always the risk of anything. You see, the American Civil Rights Movement, unlike the Boston Tea Party, have some kind of weight and is within our rights and our guidelines and the laws of this nation that protests is a form of showing resentment and displeasure at some way of governing. And again, for the President of the United States order, I'm really emotionally drained by the fact that to see what was done in front of the world by the President of the United States, taking on to himself to call out our armed services. To again, the people, as far as I could see, were peacefully demonstrating, but it was all dramatics and really a photo opportunity as we see him standing in front of a church with a Bible. You're talking about fake news. He actually orchestrated that. And again, I'm very ashamed that we have allowed administration. I'm also a little upset with our lack of leadership in coming out against the person and the administration and what's happening there in Washington. Where is our leadership in really?
I've been saying that every day. I said, who's saying anything? Nobody. Yes. Leadership to me means you sit with the people who have a problem and you listen to them and you empathize with them and you say, I hear your problem. I hear your pain, but let's work together to make the future better. That's what a leader is. Where is that coming from anywhere?
This is a 9/11 moment in America. I'm very sorry that violence has been slightly diluted the effort. But again, I'm very proud to see that so many people of all colors and all races out there, people know when something's wrong. I'm very happy also that the power and impact of imagery, which has been the cornerstone of my profession, photography. One image worth 1,000 words has often been said. And now with video being able to add elements as well, people of all countries can see what's happening to people of color in the streets of an American city. I don't think that it makes it hard for them to realize, again, as a result of these demonstrations and marches, that while we are so angry and while everyone is angry, because no one would want to be under the knee of an arrest and such a small infraction. Something about a $20 bill?
$20 bill.
And just incredible.
You know, you've lived a life. Have you reached your American dream? Tell me your thoughts about that.
I'm hoping that people will realize that there's no such thing as race. We're all of one kind. I think the astronauts can explain it best that when they're in outer space, looking back at an amazing planet, and look back at that planet and say, on that planet, there are people, not African Americans, not black, not white, not even when it comes down to international relations. When all of us, China, Russia, everyone can really just appreciate the fact that we have a great gift, the gift of life, And let's not waste it fighting against each other. Let's, work towards one accord and one race, one people, so that we can make our planet a better place to live.
That'd be an amazing place to be.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Cecil. I really appreciate your time. Cecil Williams, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to continue to show more of these interviews, more of an interview of Cecil Williams as the week goes on, in 3, 4, 5 minute increments. And for those who want to find out more about the Cecil Williams Civil Rights Museum and Institute for Social Innovation, you can go to www.cecilwilliams.com. That's www.cecilwilliams.com. He's an amazing guy. As a matter of fact, we're going to put up the whole interview on social media later this week, but we're going to show bits and parts of it. It was a very long interview. It was amazing. Really, really informative human being, and lived quite a life as well. Let's go back to some of our immigration questions here. Karen Russell Clark, I answered that question. Brahim Okafor wants to know on Facebook, can I go to my interview appointment with an expired passport and driver's license? You can. I'd like you to go with one that's not expired, but if that's all you have, yes, you can go. Rona Lawrence, can someone get back their money after paying for the visa and the person died? No. Once you pay immigration, it's a one-way street. You're not getting your money back. Chris Kelly, sir, can someone with a domestic violence record still get U.S. citizenship? Maybe. It's obviously not good moral character. Domestic violence is a deportable offense, but it's possible. In the right circumstances, yes. We would need to see the disposition to know more. Ardent Bailey Kerr with a question. Hi, Brad. My case is at the National Visa Center. I paid the fees already, and my priority date was January 2019. What's going to be the next step? My husband is a green card holder. Well, they should be sending you fee bills, and then you're going to do the affidavits of support and the DS-230 for the biographic data forms, and eventually you'll give them all your documents, police clearances, and tax returns, and eventually your case will be transferred to the U.S. Embassy for a final visa interview. Hopefully, you can do all of this over about 6 months or so. Sunshine Queen with a question. Good afternoon. My friend came here on a visitor's visa. She overstayed, has 4 kids. One's receiving SSI. What can she do? You're basically asking me, how does this person with 4 kids who overstayed their visa get a green card? That requires to read the scroll on the bottom. Call Brad for a consultation at 1-800-529-5465. I can't tell you how she's going to get a green card off the top of my head. I would need to speak with her. Wilmot Carter with a question. Thanks, Uncle Brad. I must first commend you for you've been there for all of us answers for free. God bless you and the rest of your family. You have helped a lot of us keep up the good work. By the way, I've been doing this since 1999. I was doing it on the radio in New York on 93.5, and I've been now doing it on social media since 2016. So 21 years I've been doing this. So thank you, Wilmot. And what does he continue to say? And God bless you and the rest of your family. You have helped a lot of us keep up the good work. Look at this. You are a white man and you look out for everyone. Wish there were more like you. God bless you. Thank you very much, Wilmot. That is really, really nice of you. Maybe I'll talk about this with Yo-Yo, in a week or two when he comes back, and also Nesquik. I'd be curious what their opinions are, because I've given, a lot of thought about what prejudice means to me, and racism and racial profiling means to me, and being a racist, what that means to me as a white man. And I've have a lot of opinions about it. But in the end, how I view everybody, for me, there's nobody in the world who can say they don't have prejudices, because they would be a liar. Everybody has certain prejudices in their life. But the way I look at it is that we're all human. We all have 10 fingers, 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And it is my greatest pleasure in the world to help people, Makes me feel good. So thank you, Wilmot. I appreciate it. Rochelle Williams with a question. I have a friend who experiences domestic violence. She's separated from her husband, who is a citizen. She has a temporary green card. When it expires, how does she apply if she does not want a divorce based upon her religious beliefs? She can apply. She doesn't have to get divorced to file an abuse case. She can stay married to the man forever and be separated from him and file a VAWA case. She has to prove it was a bona fide marriage and there was abuse. So I can help her. Tell her to call me. 1-800-529-5465. Let's see what else we have here. Princess Diddy Hudson with a question. I'm black as hell, and nobody make me feel less and don't love me, myself, any other race. I love everyone, black, white, pink, yellow, green. I love all, love one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. That is really nice, Princess. I want to make sure I read that right, correctly back. I am black as hell, and nobody makes me feel less and don't love myself and any other race. I love everyone, black, white, pink, yellow, green. I love all one. I love everyone. Love, heart. Let's get together and feel all right. Very nice, Princess. I agree. Let's go quickly to YouTube and see if there's any last questions. Tia Persaud with a question. Uncle Brad, I updated my address when I called USCIS. They gave me 30 days from the date I updated the address, but got approval notice for a combo card over a month. So they told me I got to wait another 30 days. I guess. I mean, there's not a lot you can do when they tell you wait another 30 days. Even though you got a lawyer involved, there's nothing I'm going to do to make it go faster than the 30 days. So why don't you wait and see what happens? And then if 30 days comes and goes and you still don't have anything, then you give me a call. See if there's anything else. May Mackey. Hi, Brad. Thanks for answering my question about my son. I'm a green card holder and his priority date is February 15th, 2018. Yes, but May Mac, I don't know if your son's over 21 or under 21. If he's over 21, then you have to wait for your priority date to be reached about another 2 or 3 years. If he's under 21, he's in the F2A category. You should have heard from the National Visa Center. And if you haven't yet, then you should give me a call at 1-800-529-5465. And with that, Lisa Bling Rose, Uncle Brad, 21 years and still going, making dreams come true. And nightmares go away. Thanks for your service. Thank you, Lisa. All right. And with that now, I am sure there's some comments of the day that I missed. Lee, what are our comments of the day? Carol Anderson, the Tiger, you are the best in the entire world, Brad. You are the best ever. Thank you, Carol. Salman Kanawan, hey, Brad, I've been following you for 10 years. Hope you are doing great. Thank you. Rupan Thakador, you are really great and a helpful person. Thank you, Rupan. And Alton Dikedi, this is clearly the best immigration program online with the best lawyers, social commentary, and real issues are dealt with here. Brad for president, vote. And Kayleen Dainty, Everblessed Stewart, Brad, you're the best there is. I always enjoy listening to you. Very informative. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good time with Hump Day. I did. Hope you got some information in our schmooze. I hope I answered some of your immigration problems and issues. I hope you enjoyed listening to Cecil Williams. I loved interviewing him. He was an amazing man. And of course, I love everybody. I love you, everyone on the Brad Squad. I love, and have a wonderful evening. And I will see you all back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.